So in the last tutorial we added an assignment to our Unit 1 module, and in this tutorial I want to teach you the different types of materials we can add to our modules. So this again is going to be achieved by clicking on the plus button, and what we're going to do here is we're going to add some content to each of our modules, and I'm going to show you all of the different types of content we can add. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to start by adding something else to Unit 1's module. So I've already added a lab report. Let's add a quiz. So again, to do this, we're going to click the plus button here, and then we are going to click on this drop-down menu and choose Quiz. And that's going to bring up a list of quizzes. I can either create a new quiz if I want to, or I can use a quiz that I already have. So I'm going to use a quiz I already have called Example Quiz, and I'm going to go ahead and add that item. And this is an interesting thing you might notice as you begin adding content to your modules. Each of the different types of content has an icon that accompanies it. So this assignment, this lab report assignment, has this little page with an A+ on it, while this quiz has this little circle with a Q in the middle of it. So here I have an assignment, here I have a quiz. And again, as I said before, if I want to reorder these, I can drag and drop either of them to change their order within this module. Okay, so we've added an assignment, we've added a quiz. Let's go ahead and add something else. Let's add a file. So I'm going to click the plus button again, and now I'm going to choose File from my drop-down menu. And I'm going to scroll through my files. I have a PowerPoint file I have saved here, right here, chapter4.pptx, and I'm going to choose to add that item. So you'll notice again we have a different icon here. And I'll show you in a second how students would be able to see this and what they'd be able to do with each of these. Okay? So I've added an assignment, a quiz, and a file to this module. What's next? Well, let's go ahead and click the plus button. And I'm going to click on File again, and there's a content page. So these are the pages you've created in Canvas, and I talk about pages in a later tutorial. It's actually the next series of videos. You're going to learn about page creation. So I've created several pages here, but the one I'm interested in is this one here that has a beaker. So here is my lab beaker that is shown in a page, and that's perfect because that is part of Unit 1. Beakers are covered in the lab manual for Unit 1. So I would go ahead and add that item. And you'll notice pages have their own icon. So let's say that this page needs to come first. I'm just going to drag and drop it right there. And there we are. Okay, so I've added a couple of things to my first module. And if I want to collapse this module so that I don't have to scroll endlessly, because right now we've got 2 modules, but if I had 15 modules here and every one of them was open, that would be kind of a hassle. I'd have to scroll down and I wouldn't really be happy with that. So how can I make it easier on myself? Well, after I've added content to the module, I can click on this little arrow and it collapses the module so that I don't have to worry about scrolling endlessly to see the next module. And then if I want to open it back up, just click on it again, and voila, there I am. Okay, let's go ahead and add some stuff to Unit 2 module. So again, I'm going to go to the plus button here. And let's say that I want to add a discussion to Unit 2. I have a Unit 2 discussion already built, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that. Actually, I'm going to choose the example discussion. I want to use this example discussion. I'm just going to use that example discussion. Okay, so there it is. So the example discussion is in Unit 2. And again, if I wanted to move it up to Unit 1 suddenly, because that's not part of Unit 2, then I could. And then I could come back over here, and I could add the Unit 2 discussion. Now you'll notice that Unit 2 discussion is already published. So when I populated it here, it shows up green while the rest of these are gray. So this module currently is not published, which means if a student accessed my course and I didn't make the discussions tab available to them, if I had moved the discussions to where students couldn't see it, they actually wouldn't even be able to see this published discussion because this module is currently unpublished. Similarly over here, this module is not published and none of the content in it is published, so my students aren't going to be able to see Unit 1's module and they're not going to be able to see any of the content in that module. Okay, so we've added some content so far. Let's go ahead and add something else to Unit 2. I'm going to click the plus here. And now what I want to do is I want to add an external URL. And I'm specifically skipping over text header because I'll talk about that in the next tutorial. So I'm going to click on external URL, and when I do that, it's going to give me this, which is where I put in the URL. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to type in http://www.google.com, and I'm going to say link to Google. Obviously, you wouldn't want to necessarily build this into your courses, but this is just an example. If you find a really cool website, then you can add that website's URL here, and then you would title this with the title of that really cool website. And then here's the cool thing. If you don't want your students to leave their Canvas session when they go to visit this link, you can choose to load this link in a new tab. And then I would just simply click Add Item, and there it is. So now if I were to click on this, for me, it's going to open this up and give me the option to open a link to Google in a new window. So I don't leave Canvas, I'm still in Canvas, and then I can go back to my modules if I want to and continue doing what I'm doing in Canvas. Okay. Next, let's choose that final option, which was external tool. And this is the really cool thing. You can directly link to external tools in your modules. So if I want to link to a YouTube video, I can scroll down here and choose YouTube. I can do the same with TED Ed, so TED Talks based around education. And I can also do it with Khan Academy. So if I want to use Khan Academy or Google Charts, I can link to all of these directly in my module. So let's see what happens with YouTube. When you click on YouTube, it's going to bring up this window. And then I can say, okay, well, my chapter 2 is about, or unit 2 module is about spectrophotometry. So I can search for that in YouTube. And then if I find a really cool video that I want to embed, then I simply just click Embed right here. And it's going to populate this window with additional content. I can choose to load it in a new tab if I want to, or I can leave it where it is. And then I can just add that item. And now that is embedded in my module as well. Okay, so now that I've started adding content, I might want to publish these modules. So I can publish this, and that by clicking the cloud for Publish Module, it publishes all the content in that module. So if I want to leave all these unpublished and work on them until I'm ready to go with my module, then I can do that. And now all of those items are published.